Andy Rizika with you with our severe storm damage update here at the command center off Delmar and Kings Highway. I am here with the Red Cross representative. What can you tell me what you guys are doing right now?
Sure. So we're working very heavily to meet the immediate needs of the community when a disaster occurs. And so we first set up shelters in the community to support residents that may have been unhoused because of a disaster. And so at those shelter locations, we make sure 3 meals are available to them. We also make sure that we provide spiritual care and mental health counseling at those because a lot of people, they've faced with a lot of loss and grief by losing either parts of their home or pieces of their life. And so we want to make sure that they have the support that they need. And then additionally, what we're doing during this time is coordinating very closely with the mayor's office to make sure they have the support that they need. And so we recently are working with them on transportation. We noticed that a lot of people could not get to the shelters because they didn't have access. And so we're ensuring that the Metro bus is coming around to pick up people to ensure that they can get to those locations. We were trying to get closer in to have shelter locations in the damaged areas, but none of them had power. And so we had to bring them, the shelter locations, a little further out than what we would have liked to. And so we're working really hard around the clock to ensure that the residents and the people in the city are safe and that they're cared for.
Are there any concerns, and I know a lot of people are in the shelters already, any concerns with shelters being more full as more rain is forecasted for the area?
We're talking about opening up additional shelters as we get people in, and we're always doing that. And so we have people haven't been incredible and great in the city, and they're raising their hands. And so I'm not too concerned about that. If necessary, we'll make sure that we have the necessary shelter to accommodate the needs of this community.
Do you think there's still people out there that may not know where to go to get help?
Yes, there are people because that's why we're doing canvassing in the community. They don't have power, so they're not seeing the television. And so at 3 p.m. today, we're meeting at Love the Lou to do some outreach. We had some amazing partners, faith-based partners, 100 Black men, Alpha Kappa Alphas, who have agreed to come out to help us canvass communities to get the word out. And so we're just working with different community leaders to make sure that their needs are met. And we'll continue to do that as necessary. Our drop-off locations where we're picking up is always 8 a.m. And if people are really concerned about their properties overnight, we drop them off and then they can come back and have transportation in the morning to get back to their homes.
I'm with the Ameren UE representative Landy. Can you tell me just about the efforts you guys are putting in right now? Lots of power lines down, trying to restore power to certain sections of the city?
Sure. So we have approximately 2,000 line folks out in the field currently today. We restored about 80% of customers that were impacted by the storms last Friday night. Currently, we've probably replaced around 300 poles and counting. We're still finding more poles that are broken. So we're concentrating on getting folks restored as quickly as possible. Plus, we've got a ton of vegetation folks out here. As you can see, there's trees down everywhere, so they got to clear all those lines in order for us to get access to replace the poles.
And there was a brief talk of moratorium during the press conference. What can you tell me about that?
Well, we're working with different agencies and municipalities. We're going to talk through what's the best next step for our customers before we make that decision.
So it's still ongoing. The people that can't afford to pay the bills at the moment, they just kind of have to wait, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is we're working with agencies and we're looking at, of course, we have our own system where if people can't afford to pay their bills, we have on our website where they can go to get that assistance. But we want to make sure that we make the right decision and the best decision by working with the agencies, municipalities, the city of St. Louis to make sure we do what's best for the customer.
And what else can you tell me about the efforts that are going on right now? I know you guys are really busy with power lines. What else are you guys doing at the moment?
Well, we're also looking at the potential for severe weather that could come in again tonight. We're working with our mutual assistance utilities, our neighboring utilities, to get resources just in case we experience more outages so that we don't slow up our recovery efforts here, and hopefully it doesn't push these recovery efforts back because, again, additional damages. So that's what we're really focused on right now, is safely restoring the city of St. Louis. making sure if another storm comes in, we have adequate resources to make sure we can respond to that storm, and also just putting new poles up and cleaning up what we're tearing down.
Do you have any words to some of our residents that they may see a down power line in their neighborhood? What should they be doing? Should they be avoiding those?
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's the third day of the storm and you may have lines that are still laying down in the bushes, and I know folks want to get out and start cleaning up, we always advise to stay away from down lines. You don't know if they're live. Just keep your distance from them. Wait till we come and make sure it's dead and remove the lines out of the way.
Do you have any timetable? I know it's kind of hard right now, but any time for that some of the residents that may be listening?
So we're restoring residents every day. I mean, right now we're restoring people. I can't give you an exact when we'll have everybody because it's very complicated repairs that we're making. But each day they're going to be more restored, and we're going to be doing this throughout the week.
I'm here with Jana, and she were with the Missouri Baptist Disaster Relief. Can you tell me about what you guys are doing out here at the Command Center lot?
Well, we were asked to come in specifically to feed all emergency workers. They've been working long shifts, so we provide a hot meal for them twice a day.
Excellent. I'm sure that really helps keep people safe because they have their first responders getting fed throughout their shift. So is this something you guys do on all disasters?
Every disaster is different, but we do feed emergency personnel, people putting up telephone poles, whoever needs it. Community, we will probably transition to feeding more community members here shortly. We're sending food out for that.
Are you here 24 hours a day?
We are not. We work about 12 hours a day.
And what can you tell me about just being here with this disaster? You know, you guys are here helping out. Just what do you feel about all of the destruction you see around you?
Well, it is overwhelming, the amount of destruction, and overwhelming the amount of work these emergency workers are having to do, the hours they're having to work. And I'm just personally really anxious to be able to cook and feed more of the residents.
And that's a really good point. The residents need a lot of help too. So how much food do you guys typically bring to help out community members?
Well, it can vary. We can send out, 500 meals a day. The unit that we have with us could do up to 10,000 a day.
That's a lot of food. And just kind of what types of food are we talking about? Is you guys doing dinners, or is it what kind of food do you guys bring?
Well, we do a hot entree. It can be like today we have a barbecue pulled chicken, or it could be a beef stew, and we do a hot vegetable with that, and then whatever sides they want to choose.
Excellent. Any other thoughts on what you guys can do or how the public can help you in your organization?
Well, we're just really blessed to be here to provide this help, hope, and healing for our community. And we've been helped by some grocery chains that have dropped off fresh items that we can hand out to the officers and send out into the community, because some of them don't have power and it would otherwise go to waste, and we can put that to good use.
With the storm coming in too, do you kind of have to go back through some of these neighborhoods and maybe even update some of these dots?
After the storm, based on calls we received, we're still out in the neighborhoods. I mean, we've got people canvassing, passing information out. So our footprint isn't as big, but we're still there.
Any other words for residents still in neighborhoods trying to make their lives better?
Keep doing what you're doing. Take care of your neighbors. That's what St. Louis always does. Take care of your neighbors. Look for somebody who needs assistance and help them. That's going to help us get through this. This is going to be a long process. This isn't an overnight fix. We've got major destruction. This is one of the worst tornadoes I've ever seen. But I will say that the city of St. Louis handled it on a level that's never been seen before either.
Thank you so much, Chief. Chief, do you have anything to add?
Absolutely. Now, this thing is also, other city agencies can use this. As you can see, our command center is still here. We use it just for making sure people could see exactly what was done in the beginning. You can see the path of the storm, and then it also gives us situational awareness. The fire department's going to update this one, so maybe when you come back later on tonight or tomorrow, you're going to see how the search was expanded and what they've done. They did an incredible job. We've assisted, but as you heard me during the press conference, we worry about facilitating all other city agencies, keeping everyone safe, the community, city agencies. We're here 24 hours a day. We have 12-hour shifts. We have all the officers, all boots on the ground. And as you saw, we had St. Louis Metro Air Support that was up in the air and actually right on cue as we were having the press conference. That wasn't done for theater, that was done because they're out here working. So up in the air, down to the boots on the ground, 24 hours a day, curfew in place from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in this impact zone to keep everyone safe. It's not to keep people out, it's to keep people safe. But at the same time, people that shouldn't be coming in, we want to keep them safe from harm as well. And allowing our emergency service workers, making sure that our utility companies, making sure forestry, streets, refuse, making sure the buildings department, they have a way to get in, get out. So we're here to facilitate all the city agencies and keep everyone safe. So I thank the community for complying with the curfew that we have in place, but it's only for this area, not the rest of the city. And I thank the rest of the city of really coming together and the people coming in, the support. It makes you proud to be part of the city of St. Louis and part of this community. How everybody's responded to come together, and that's what people don't see about this. But I hope they see in such a tragedy. They've seen how great this city can be and how people can come together, sense of community, and all working together. And that's what we really should get out of this tragedy. If there is a positive, we got so much more work to do. So we're not going to relent on what we're doing. You're going to see this command post here for as much time as it's needed to be here. So we're going to be here in part of the community. Instead of doing things all the way at North Patrol, I wanted to get something closer to the ground, and the additional officers that continue to come in, they'll muster up here, and then I put them out with a plan.
Thank you for your efforts, Chief. I know you're busy. It's a long road ahead for this.
Well, thank you very much for the chance to communicate, and thank the community and thank all the workers that have been part of this. And my thoughts and prayers to the families that lost one and is injured. But we're going to get through this together, and we're going to get everybody back in a good place. But it's going to take a long time to get there.
Thank you, Chief Tracy. Once again, we're going to continue our storm coverage here from the command center. Andy Ruzicka.
It's good to be here. I've spent the last few hours on the ground, just walking, just going house to house up in Penrose, the Ville, just talking with people out on the street, meeting with their neighbors, hearing about what they're going through. The devastation, I don't have to tell you, is terrible. I think it is hard to capture in words. It is even harder to capture in some ways in images. You've really got to see it. And two things really strike me coming out of this. Number one is that the federal government has a big role to play here. We need to get the federal government mobilized. All federal resources that can be brought to bear here should be. All federal resources that are available need to come to this community. Can you guys hear me over that? I'll wait. It's good. So I look forward to working with the governor to get an emergency disaster declaration. I know the governor's at work on that. We talked to his team again this morning. Obviously, he wants to get that out the door as soon as possible. That needs to come quickly. When it does, we will immediately push it and ask the White House to expedite this so that we can unlock disaster relief. I'd like to see individual assistance come as well. We need rebuilding funds for communities, but we also need individual assistance. I talked to so many people who they're going to need that individual assistance. That's number one. Number two, to all of our friends in the insurance industry, I've got a message for you. You need to pay out claims. We need 100% of claims that are eligible to be paid out, and they need to be paid out in full. I have written to every insurance company, every insurer in the state over the weekend and put them on notice. I'm in the middle of an investigation right now in the Homeland Security Committee on insurance companies, including ones in this state, and their failure to pay out claims. This is a real acid test. If they want to make good, they need to pay out claims to every person who has been injured, every person who suffered damage, and that is so many people. There's a lot of claims that need to be paid, and we will be tenacious. I have set up a hotline already at my Senate page. We have an email hotline. We've got an online portal devoted. We're going to have a number set up so people can call us. I've been handing out my number left and right. I said, if you can't get your claims processed, you come to me. I want to see these insurance companies pay out these claims. These folks are going to need it. I want to say thank you to the fire chief, who has done an extraordinary job. As I was walking the streets this morning, just talking to people, I had numerous people tell me that the fire folks had been in, had helped them, in some cases helped them move debris, had done wellness checks, helped them get out of the house. I want to thank the police chief. Chief Tracy is doing a phenomenal job. You know, what I heard over and over from residents today is they said our neighborhoods are calm. At night, they are safe. The mayor obviously has done a terrific job. She's got this situation in hand, is really working it hard. And now the federal government needs to do its part, and the insurance companies need to do their part. So there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of rebuilding to do. But these are beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful communities, and the history here is extraordinary. As I was walking these streets, just talking to residents, talking about their grandmother lived here. They raised their children here. One family said they'd been here for 80 years. You know, those are that kind of community. You can't find that anywhere else. We don't want to see that lost. We want to see it rebuilt. And there's a lot of work to do on that beginning ASAP. With that, I'm happy to take your questions, and I think the mayor's here. The mayor's happy to take questions as well.
Senator, you called on the president before to send in National Guardsmen and to secure college campuses over protests. Would you call on the president or the governor, maybe more appropriately, to send in surge manpower, National Guardsmen and women here now?
Yeah, I think, Mark, the governor is running this relief and recovery operation. I think he's doing a really good job. The Guard may be something he may want to consider. To your point, there's a lot of debris. There's a lot of need out there. I will defer to him on that. It's his decision as to whether or not to mobilize the Guard. But I will tell you, we've been in constant contact with the governor's office. They're on top of this, and I know that he will surge as much manpower as needed. But you're not wrong about the need for manpower. I mean, I can just tell you, just walking the streets here, there is a lot of need. There's a lot of need, and there's a lot of severe weather in the forecast. And just simple things like getting tarps on these houses. You know, a lot of the folks I talk to, they're in their homes, but their homes don't have roofs. They need tarps, they need help. They need some relief, so there's a lot of work to do.
Senator, is there a concern that FEMA isn't on the ground right now?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What do you say to residents who want to know why FEMA isn't on the ground right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. My understanding is that the governor has the state running point, and he has the state and state resources. He wants them to run point and FEMA to assist, which I understand is happening. Listen, I will leave that to him, but I will just say this. FEMA has a lot of resources, and we want to see all of them deployed here, and we want to see assistance come in full to this area. So I'm going to be a dog on a bone with that. The governor's emergency request will unlock that, and so we hope to see that soon.
Is there a double standard? I mean, with hurricanes, we have 3 declarations of emergency. We still, as you know, haven't had a declaration from the March.
Yes.
Are we talking about 2 months from now and still not having a declaration?
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. I mean, the governor, I think, will make his request, his initial request this week. I hope within maybe the next day or so. And then I'm going to urge the White House to move on that immediately. I mean, this is very severe. I mean, it's very severe. And to your point, we cannot wait months. I'm not happy about the fact we're still waiting from all of that damage 2 months ago. We lost 12 people in those storms. We've lost 7 here. The scope of the damage is immense. 7 lives, it's horrible to lose, and the additional scope of the damage is immense. We need FEMA to act very quickly, very, very quickly, and that'll be my message to the president.
From that March
Any idea
storm,
why
Arkansas
FEMA
was
hasn't
initially denied before they got approved again. Are you concerned that Missouri, for either March or earlier this month, could be denied initially?
I'm told that we have not been denied from our earlier request. The White House is.
Are you concerned you could be denied like Arkansas?
No, because I think our governor is pretty good at putting in the declaration what he needs. And I've already talked to the White House about our earlier pending declaration. They've told me it is in order. The Governor Kehoe requested everything he was supposed to request. I would anticipate another disaster declaration request from him very soon. I don't want to speak for him, but I think it'll be very soon. And as soon as it comes, we will push it hard, and I'll urge the White House to act quickly.
Senator, what's your reaction to seeing this damage, seeing what's going on?
You know, my reaction is that it's devastating, and just talking to residents, talking with them about the history there. I mean, talking to families who say, one gal told me, my son played in this tree that's now uprooted and lying over the top of her porch. Another gal who's 88 years old talked about raising her whole family there, and she lived in the house her mother lived in. I mean, this is the kind of tight-knit community that you can't just go find that magically. This has grown up over decades and decades. We want to see that rebuilt. And, you know, people's lives have been torn apart. I mean, this isn't just about physical damage, though that's severe. It's about the emotional damage. It's about a neighborhood being torn apart. But I tell you, the other thing is, boy, these neighborhoods are strong. What I saw everywhere I went was volunteers out. I met one gal, they have no power in their house, and she said she's cooking for the whole neighborhood. And I said, how are you doing that without power? She showed me she had 3 grills, Weber grills, and a smoker stacked up on the sidewalk, and she was cooking for the entire neighborhood. Now that's neighborly spirit. That's Missouri right there. That's the best of who we are. So there's a lot of strength, there's a lot of heart. Now the federal government and the insurance companies need to do their part to help these good folks recover. Not yet, but I will tell you, I was just talking with a gal who was on the phone with State Farm, who's the biggest insurer in our state, and who appeared before my committee just a few days ago. And their track record is not good. And I just talked to this gal who was on the phone with them today, and already she said they were telling her, well, we don't know when we can get an adjuster out there. Well, we need you to fill out these forms first. Well, and I said, I don't want to hear that. So she's got my number. I said, if they give you the runaround, I want to know about it. But can I just say again to the insurers in this state, to State Farm, to Allstate, to all of the insurers in the state, you need to pay out your claims. You're making lots of money, and you've made a lot of money on these people. It's time now to pay out their claims in full. Lauren, did you have something else?
Yeah, is there anything Congress can do to legislate expediting this process? Do we
Maybe.
need to make it go faster?
Well, and this is, this maybe gets to Greg's question. I mean, maybe we need to do something outside the hurricane context where we can get pre-declarations, where we can get moving more quickly. FEMA, the governor told me this morning, FEMA's going to be on the ground to do damage assessments, I think within the next 48 hours. So, that's good, but this all needs to happen real fast. That needs to happen real fast.
Senator, what do you
Yeah.
think has changed since the last administration to move this FEMA process along faster?
What should change?
What
What has changed? Well, I hope there's a sense of urgency. It's certainly, listen, this is my job to communicate a sense of urgency to FEMA and to the White House that this devastation is significant, the need is great, and we need to act quickly. And I would just communicate that same sense of urgency to the private insurers, because to be clear, FEMA can pay out individual assistance, and they should everywhere they can, but that's capped by law. Most of the individual assistance that people are going to see is going to come from their insurance companies. So that's why we need this investment in these communities. We need to see it come quickly. Yeah, Mark.
We're hearing some reports of people perhaps posing as FEMA or scammers maybe in the
Ah.
trying to take opportunity here.
Yeah.
What role does the state attorney general have
Big
in
role.
fighting back against that?
Yeah, big role. This is an important point, and I know that Andrew Bailey, I've talked to the Attorney General about this storm. Often you get people who try to do price gouging right now. You get all kinds of scammers. So those people need to be prosecuted. If they're out there, they need to be charged, they need to be prosecuted. I know the Attorney General will do that. And let me just take my part as former Attorney General to warn any potential scammer out there, listen, what you're doing is illegal, you will be prosecuted. So my message is to the scammers, knock it off or face the full front of the law, the full force of the law. To the insurance companies, get with it, because these people need relief.
Have you spoken to the president yet about what happened here?
Not about this, but soon. Thank you, guys. Do you want to hear from the mayor? Anything the mayor can add?
Senator, I just want to thank you.
No, absolutely.
I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up to St. Louis. Thank you for making these requests. Thank you for being bold here. Thank you for having the back of St. Louis.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
She's doing a great job.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? I can give a quick brief. You guys know this was an unprecedented storm. Okay, 8 miles of pure destruction, at times a mile wide. We're talking about thousands of buildings. Thousands of families are being displaced. The recovery work is just beginning. We have gone through the search and rescue. Our fire department, our police department have done unprecedented amount of work. Our city departments have cleared the roads, and we are just getting started in the recovery mode.
Best places for people who need housing tonight, where do they go?
We are pointing people to 211, the American Red Cross. We are transporting people in a partnership with the American Red Cross from the Ville to shelters. 211 is the best place. If it gets overloaded, we have backup plans in place. We'll be announcing those as needed.
Have you spoken to the governor about the National Guard?
I have spoken to the governor. The governor has been incredibly communicative with me, my team, the state, everybody involved. I have full confidence that our governor is doing our part to make those asks, to make those declarations, so we can get the federal assistance that we so badly need to get through this unprecedented disaster.
Is the federal, is,
people returning to their homes that are unsafe?
That are unsafe. The building division has already inspected well over 1,000 of these buildings. We are working on color coding them so folks know the danger level in getting in. There has been some concern about condemnations on buildings. This is purely that we're revamping that, so there's some color coding. We are not doing any work to take buildings down right now without ownership involved. We are purely out there trying to establish a level of safety so folks know the level of damage that their homes have withstood.
What about for people who return to them anyway, being the only thing they have?
Yeah, it is their only thing they're having. We are working to make sure we have supplies and other housing for folks, and we're asking for folks to exercise extreme caution when re-entering their buildings.
do you think the federal government is moving fast enough?
Look, I'm hoping that the federal government kicks into gear here today. We absolutely desperately need federal assistance, and we are leaning on them to do what they can.
The governor's office told us this morning they're considering maybe sending National Guard, but
Okay.
usually they help Sam that floods. Could you use the manpower?
We could absolutely use the manpower. Look, our folks have been working around the clock for 48 hours now, and they have done an incredible amount of work, but there is so much more work to be done. We absolutely need the manpower, and it could absolutely be helpful, and we reiterate that request.
With the chains of severe weather, thinking about building inspectors, you don't have enough. Where would those extra?
We are working on that. We are looking at doing exactly what you're talking about and pulling in resources from other capacities to help us out.
If their building hasn't been checked yet, especially with more severe weather in the forecast for this evening, should people trust their buildings to be safe if there's any amount?
If you don't, if there's any question, please don't trust your building. We are very concerned about coming weather. That is why we've gotten out tarps. We're working out 2x4, all the pieces to try to secure your property. But the human toll that this has already taken we've lost 5 lives, 38 people have been injured. We are very concerned about that. If you have any doubt, please seek shelter. Please don't chance it. Your lives are too important. We have shelter for you and your belongings. We're working on ways through insurance and federal assistance to make you whole, but please don't risk your lives tonight.
Mayor, you still have a lot of citizens.
We are going to have a full report on that today. We are taking that very seriously. We will have more information today about that. I just don't have it right now.
Mayor, you still have a lot of citizens
with the American
who want to
Red
help.
Cross.
What do you tell citizens who want to donate, who want to help? They want to do something.
Thank you for asking. We do have our website up. We are plugging in ways for citizens to help. Please do sign up to volunteer. There are countless ways to help. We're streamlining that. We're coordinating it. We don't want citizens just going out willy-nilly because there are still so many down wires. There is still so much danger. Please, please, please sign up. Please do help. We have lots of ways to plug in. Please use caution if you do go out. We're not trying to discourage folks from helping the community. There's so much need out there, but please be careful. Thank you.
We're going to get an update from the American Red Cross now.
Good afternoon. The American Red Cross has been working very closely with the mayor's office to ensure that the residents in St. Louis City, particularly those hard-hit areas like the Ville and the Greater Ville and Penrose, that they get the transportation that they need to get to the emergency shelters. We're still working very hard to ensure that all the resources, so they're getting free meals at every shelter location, 3 meals per day. We're also encouraging people to call 1-800-RED-CROSS. As I mentioned, we want to make sure that we're actually assessing damage and collaborating with other partners to ensure that those financial aid that people are eligible for is coming to them. That will take some time, but it's really important for us just to get track of information of people coming in and calling our 1-800 number.
What specific help do you need from our viewers? Who is the priority today? And can you tell us your name?
Yes, my name's Lucretia Cox. I'm the Executive Director of the American Red Cross. And our needs are to get the word out about our shelters. We want to make sure we know we surveyed the communities and they don't have power, so they can't hear us. And so we're actually today we're doing a outreach to make sure that they have flyers to know where our shelter locations are and to know where the pickup is. The pickup time for that, as the mayor has mentioned, is at 8 p.m. and it's at the Natural Bridge Save-A-Lot. And so we just want the word out about that. And so we just want to ensure, again, weather is coming. We want them to be safe. We know that some of the structures that they're in are unstable. And so we're just here to assist.
What do you want to say to people who are camping out at their properties, concerned about their belongings? How would you advise them?
Yes, we spent some time talking about that yesterday. We just want to make sure, I definitely understand that's all they have. They don't want to leave their properties, but it's really important that you are safe and you're secure. Your life is more important than all the belongings that you have. And so we just want to say, please seek shelter.
All right, we're going to get an update from Ameren on power restoration, and then we're going to wrap up.
Afternoon.
Can you say your name?
Yes, Landy Wentz, Ameren, Missouri, Senior Director, Regional Operations. First, I'd just like to show appreciation for the collaboration with St. Louis City, St. Louis County, the first responders. It's been just a yeoman effort for everybody working together. Currently, we have about 2,000 workers on the ground here. Mostly 80% of those are concentrated in the city. We're down about 30,000 outages in the city, but we're at that point where the outages are now very difficult. There's still a lot of structural damage that's on our lines, a lot of vegetation. We've counted about 300 poles we've replaced or at this point and counting. And so we're going to keep working throughout this week to get folks restored. We got 650 vegetation crews out here getting ahead of our line crews to make sure we get the lines cleared so that we can get folks restored. And we just ask that folks kind of stay away from the work that's being done. We don't want you to get caught up in the work zones while our guys are out there, guys and gals are out there trying to restore power.
Say again, how many people are without power still?
About 30,000 in the city, in the concentration in the city of St. Louis.
When do you expect to have power restored to everybody?
It's kind of hard to estimate that because some of these outages are very tricky to get fixed. So as we figure that out, we'll get a more updated ECR. But we're going to be working throughout the week. They'll be getting restored each day as we work throughout the week.
We get a general timeline. Are we talking days for some of those tricky ones, weeks?
Yeah, it could be up to Friday for some of these properties, and some of them, will not get restored because they can't be, because they're not inhabitable to be restored.
Is there any update on a moratorium for customers?
So we're working with multiple agencies and municipalities, and we're going to see what's the best way forward for our customers. But we're definitely working on a plan. Thank you.
Any other questions? Guys, for me, for the mayor, for yes.
The curfew is in effect again tonight. It's going in from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. It's been very effective. We're very grateful for folks staying home.
Okay, Senator, can you clarify on the deaths? You said 7, but we've been hearing 5.
I'm sorry, total 7. 5 here, 2 south. 2, yeah.
Have there been any arrests for violations of the curfew?
Chief Robert Tracy. No, we haven't had any arrests at this time. We have people who have been cooperating. I think the community has come together. And then if there are people that come into the area, they are complying with our officers. We have, I keep telling everyone, 12-hour shifts. We're not only controlling this area, the impact area, but we're not forgetting about the rest of the city. But the curfew, just to follow up, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., only for the impact area in the 5th and 6th district, not for the whole city right now. But we're making sure people are cooperating, and I thank you. And we'll tell you when we lift it, so until further notice, it's going to be on unless we pull that back. So
And
thank
still
you.
no examples of looting, still no cases of
We haven't, there's been some reported cases, but I have not seen any reports on it. And certainly we go through that. So I'm very proud of this city. I'm really proud of the plan that's been put in place because there hasn't been much. We talk about looting after we have these natural disasters that happen, but we haven't seen that in the city of St. Louis. Once again, very proud of the community, proud of the people coming together and not seeing any of that. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be vigilant to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yes, Susie.
Questions. So much
Yes.
of it is governed by the state level
Yes.
regulations. How do you envision your office and federal government working with the state to make sure that they're actually complying?
Well, a couple of things. Number one is that regardless of who the regulator is, when a policyholder has a policy that says that they are eligible up to a certain amount and you've got the insurance company that's just flatly refusing to pay it, we've got a problem. But number two, we want to work with state enforcers because it's really the enforcers that are at the state level who can bring suit, whether it's the state insurance, those who oversee the insurance, and then also the Attorney General. And I would love to see some suits for insurance fraud against the insurers. We see insurance fraud all the time against individuals, and hey, that's fine. And if you're an individual and you're trying to scam them, you should be prosecuted. But what I have seen in my investigation is a systematic abuse of the insurance system where these companies know that they're lowballing their claims, their policyholders, they know they're not paying out, and they just keep doing it anyway. Those people ought to be sued, but they also ought to be prosecuted wherever possible, and we want to work with local and state enforcement authorities to see that that happens. Believe me, I have the power of the subpoena on the Homeland Security Committee, so I just say again to our friends in the insurance industry in Missouri, we love you right up until you don't pay your claims. And if you don't pay your claims, you're going to get a subpoena from me, and I hope you'll hear from enforcement authorities. These people need their claims paid, and they need them paid immediately. Immediately. I love the idea of a moratorium, by the way. Didn't you ask about that? On electricity claims. I hope they'll do that. I want to say for the record.
Are you concerned that premiums will also rise if insurance companies take advantage of disaster?
Better not be. That's price gouging, which is forbidden by Missouri law. So you can't just rate. This is the same thing with owners of Convenience stores, you cannot jack up prices. Water, same deal. We have anti-price gouging laws in Missouri. I know the Attorney General will enforce those in a very tough manner, and that includes insurance. So we don't want to see premiums all of a sudden tomorrow skyrocket. That's not how it works. We want to see the insurance companies pay what they should pay.
And same with homeowners being dropped. We see that after disasters where homeowners
Same deal. That's the same deal. That's illegal. You cannot, as an insurer, you cannot drop off somebody just because you don't want to pay their claim or try to beat them to it. And before they file a claim, you drop them. That again would run afoul of our protection, our consumer protection laws. And believe me, I'll be talking to the Attorney General to make sure that those get enforced. I know he loves to enforce them. He's good at it. Thank you guys for covering this. And I want to say again, it has been the spirit and the heart that I see in this community is incredible. And what the work that the police chief has done, the fire chief has done, has been absolutely outstanding. All of our law enforcement, terrific work from the mayor. And now the federal government needs to do its part. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for covering this.